a lot of the recommendations for managing farrowing, at least from a preventative approach, especially from various manufacturers like ourselves and obviously others included. One of the things I've always wondered is, with the exception of some of the tropical locations, we say right around 50, 55 degree soil temperatures that, these fungi kind of start waking up, so to speak. And to begin that, from a fungicide perspective, begin that preventative control, what I've always wondered is, so it's kind of been established, and I don't really know the data behind it about that 50, 55 degree window, but is there that upwards limit that we can say, okay, at these temperatures, those pathogens or organisms are then going to just kind of go into remission on the warm or hot side of the temperature range?
Oh, good question there. The temperature, the minimum temperature threshold, let's call it, was developed by Dr. Lee Miller. Now he's at Purdue University. He was a grad student at North Carolina State University, and he worked out the preventative application timings in spring applications and corresponded to that the soil range that you're talking about, 50 to 55. He had good results with applications starting then. The kind of as you mentioned, the basidiomycete fungi sort of starting to wake up, so to speak, and move into the spring and then into the summer. So that soil temperature threshold was very helpful to it for making preventative applications. Over the years, though, what we don't know if could we get away with one preventive application? Does it take two or three? And it just depends on the site. In some years with environmental conditions, you could get away with one application. In other years, it may take two or three or four preventive applications. We just don't know. How can you predict the weather and environmental conditions? But your question about upper threshold, that we don't know. I would assume that for many of these basidiomycete fungi, yes, there's an upper limit. But there's some, like Agaricus campestris is one. That one loves not Agaricus campestris. That's a common meadow mushroom that likes it more. There's Agaricus brunescens. That one really likes hot, humid weather. So that threshold may be 100, 105 Fahrenheit or above it. Who knows? It could be even higher. So we don't know the upper limit on these, but it's a good rule of thumb to start your preventative applications in the spring. But again, it depends on your geographic location. Like if you're in Florida, you want to make the preventative applications in November, December, going into January through May. That's their peak farrowing season, although they can deal with farrowing all year round. So it just depends. And then the other part of the soil temperature thing, the environmental sort of component, is the soil moisture and the root zone moisture content. That's so very important for developing these farrowing symptoms.